Today we're going to be going over this Proline 2015 Toyota Tacoma body for any 12.4 or 313 millimeter wheelbase crawlers. We're also going to be going over the mods on my SCX-10iii basecamp and what I plan on in the future. So with that out of the way, I can give you guys a better look at this body and all its details. It has detailed headlight buckets, plastic grills, it's got mirrors, detailed mirrors, it's got door handles, it also has rear light buckets, as you guys can tell in there. Just need my lights are coming. And the first time I think I've ever seen it, windshield wipers on an RC scale trail truck. The fit and finish of this body is excellent. I painted it in a metallic black, so camera's not going to do it justice, but there is a metallic flake in there. Fits pretty good on my SCX-10iii here. Yeah, I think it gives it a nice scale trail truck look. And I really like how the headlight buckets look. Taking a look under the body, you can see how the door handles and windshield wipers, headlight bucket / grill are all mounted. Apparently it's Proline's most scale body, and I believe it. It looks really amazing. So as for mods on the base camp, as you can see, we have a Injora winch. We also have some aftermarket bumper parts. Sliding down, we also have skid plate there, along with diff covers. And if you guys can see, a center skid plate along with the rear diff cover. We have a Hobbywing Fusion SE FOC motor. I have done a little bit of things to this truck in terms of weight. Done a couple things there and there, along with a secondary receiver box for the winch controls, which I control off of a wireless fob that came with the winch. Currently running it on a 3S LiPo from Electron. Get about 2.5–3 hours of runtime, so I really can't complain. In terms of suspension, it's all stock, but I like it. I think it does a pretty good job. Stock shocks, stock mounts. The only thing I've done is rebuild the shocks. Previous owner didn't take the greatest care of this, but she's all good now. As for wheels and tires, I got the stock ones on there right now, but I do have some aftermarket bead locks. These tires are more of a mud terrain tire, and they're a bit bigger, so they kind of give up the scale look in terms in its relation to performance, but they actually perform very well. As for the motor, the Hobbywing Fusion SE motor has FOC, which means field-oriented control, and that means the throttle on the controller does not control the speed of the motor. It controls the RPM of the motor. It does not control the power output / voltage. So that's how this can crawl very slowly, which I'll show you guys here in a second. So here's just how slow this Hobbywing Fusion SE can go. As you can see, it just loads on the power as it needs it. I'm very impressed with this motor and the FOC. FOC is something I was never familiar with, but now that I've experienced it, I can't really go to anything without it in terms of crawling performance. This truck does have plenty of punch when you need it, so if you need wheel speed, it's got it, but it also has that super slow control, which just makes it probably one of the best crawlers, in my opinion, out of the box. Obviously it doesn't come with the Hobbywing motor out of the box, but if it did, there wouldn't be anything that could really top it, because there's just something about that. Look at that. So here's what the truck looks like with the bumper lights in. The tailgate I cut a little bit weird, but that's because I'm running a different bumper most of the time. But yeah, I really like these wheels and tires. I think it gives it a great scale look. They're not overly big. They're a little bit big, but they're not too bad. And yeah, the black on black just looks amazing to me. Some things that I'd like to do in the future is get some different shocks, maybe a different chassis that allows me to mount the shocks a little bit differently. I'd like to get a little bit more flex out of this rig because everything else on it is so great. The articulation is really the only thing that lets this down. Here's about where she's topping out in terms of articulation. As you can see, definitely not horrible, but not great. It gets the job done. It looks very scale. So I might keep it as this, but I might also add something. We'll see. But I do have lights coming for the front headlight buckets and the rear, so I will be doing a video on installing those. I had some LED lights in the bumper. I think I'm gonna just leave those out for now. I think it looks better with them in the headlights versus the bumper. I think it looks more scale. And yeah, this has been my first ever scale crawler truck. Actually, first crawler in general, and it's really blown me away. I think that motor is the main thing, but it's just an awesome truck. And yeah.